I feel like when you are coming from a place of really not having a relationship with your father and all of a sudden you get the news that they're gone, that's something that's really hard to grasp because I never felt like I would feel what I felt when I got the news that he would pass or that he passed. I was in a place of really just unbelief, denial. I really wish that we would have had that conversation. What he was suffering, what he was going through, he never told me. All of the memories that I had with my dad were when I was young. He was very much in and out of my life. He was very much someone who would come and go. But to hear that they're dead, to hear that they're no longer here, a grief took over me that I never knew even existed. I grieved all of the memories that I wanted with him. I grieved the time that I wanted him to spend with my future kids. The time I thought I had, the time that I thought would come to the day that he would pick up the phone and establish a relationship that I wanted like my whole life. Even as a little girl, getting news that my dad was coming, I would get ready. My mom would, fix me up, and I'd be sitting on the steps waiting for him to come just to it gets later and later and he never show. And I feel like that does put a void in you. Like having a dad is an essential part of your life. And when you don't have that sense of stability from the man who is supposed to show you what love is, how a man should treat you, how you're supposed to be treated, when that's taken from you and you don't have anyone to compare that to, any man that shows you attention becomes your idol. It becomes something that you were looking for. And when you finally receive the attention that you wanted so bad, you feed off of that. It gives you this energy. It gives you this sense of, I'm here. I'm being seen. I am loved. When you don't know God and you go into the world and you look for a man to be that vital part of your life that your father never was, that you never got from your earthly father, that is a very desperate place to be. I feel like had I had my dad in my life to show me that I was enough, to show me that I was seen, that I was someone worthy of being waited on and waited for, if I would have had that example, there would be a whole lot of relationships that I could have avoided in people and in men and how I see men and how I look at a man, and God definitely showed me what my father didn't. God took up the pieces that my father left behind. And when I get the news that he's gone and he's passed on, I'm grieving that. I'm grieving the loss that we never had the relationship that I wanted us to have, the loss that we never was able to develop and share memories and moments that I wanted us to have. I might have been robbed it of my childhood of not really having that stability, but I definitely longed for it in my adulthood. And I thought maybe there was hope. I think the one thing that the world think that we have so much of is time. We don't know when our loved ones or people that we care about are just in our lives will even have the moment that we hope for to be that what we want them to be. And I feel like I dealt with a lot of grief in the way that I blamed myself for not taking a step forward, for not making or taking the initiative to reach out as much. There was a lot of blaming. There was a lot of disbelief. There was a lot of, mourning for that conversation that I really wanted. I do remember the last conversation I had with him, and we talked about meeting up. He called, he was in good spirits. I never detected anything was wrong. He sounded like he was okay. And I call him or No, he calls me and we're catching up, and I'm kind of giving him a little, a rundown of what was going on in the moment. I think at the time I was getting back from a trip, and I was just talking to him, and I said, hey, maybe we should grab lunch, catch up. And he agreed. He said, yes, we do need to catch up. He he sounded okay. He sounded at peace. And it's just kind of sad that, we never did have that time to do what we planned to do and have that moment to actually sit down at a restaurant, meet up. I envisioned it all, even as we were talking about it, that there was no doubt that this wouldn't be a start of a healthy moving forward in our relationship. It just so happens that as I was planning for this new start, that he'd be gone in so many days after that conversation. But that's just something that I had to heal from, and God had to see me through. That sometimes we think we have all the time in the world to make things right, or to wait on someone to change, or wait on someone to take the initiative to do what they should have done, or that we expect them to be in our lives. And oftentimes we think we have all the time in the world, but sadly, we don't know one moment from the next. We don't know whether that person is going to be here today or tomorrow. We don't know. And I feel like in that uncertainty, we shouldn't leave room for regret. We shouldn't leave room for would've, could've, should've's, or I wish I had've. I feel like if you have the time to make a relationship right, if you have a time to even get something off your chest or confess something to someone, if you have a phone, pick it up and use it and make that happen. I think that's the best thing I learned with the passing of my dad.